Welcome back. Her father wrote one of the more influential, if not controversial, books of our time, Many Lives, Many Masters. Amy Weiss, a renowned past life progressionist, has co-authored a new book with her father, Brian, about past lives, soulmates, and more. Amy, good to have you here. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Dave.
It's great to have you on the show because there's so many things to talk about with what you're up to. So let's start with this. Tell me about this book.
This book I co-wrote with my father, Dr. Brian Weiss, and it's mainly about past lives and reincarnation, which is the idea that we're the soul, not the physical body or the brain. And when those things die, the soul lives on and eventually is reincarnated into another body.
And I know that I know there are a lot of skeptics. I mean, obviously, when your dad wrote Many Lives, Many Masters, it kind of set the literary world on fire. If you could sort of boil it down in its essence, and you just kind of touched on it, when you die, it's just a physical death, and then your soul kind of hovers, or what happens?
You go to what we find is that you go to a state where you review the life that you just led, and you learn about it, and you learn, like, you get a kind of life review where you can see all the good actions you did, and you feel them firsthand, and then all the not so good actions, and you feel what those are like. So you really learn what it's like. And then you review the life, and then you decide, what you're going to learn in the next life, what body you might choose, who might be your parents.
Okay, that's fascinating. Let's get to that. So you actually choose what you're coming back as?
Yeah, it's not an accident.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So people can just, I was a man in this life, I'd like to be a woman in the next life.
Yeah, you change genders, you change race, you change religion, you become rich, you become poor, because you have to learn from all sides.
And you choose this all on your own, or there are teachers with you?
I think there's guides and there's angels, or whatever you want to call it, God. Any word can encompass that, but there's a universe of loving energy, and it's all there for your betterment and your soul's evolution.
Okay, let's stop down for a second here, because I'm sure there are skeptics.
Sure.
And there are people who've not read your father's book and who don't believe what we're saying right now. So how have you found this out? Take me through that process.
Well, I was never skeptical because I was raised this way, but when you experience a regression for yourself, you experience it for yourself. So it becomes something that you really live through. It's not just a knowledge or an abstract concept.
A lot of people obviously have various different phobias. So much of their phobias can be traced back to previous lives, right?
Yeah, a lot of people who have a fear of something around their throat or choke, that kind of thing, of drowning, maybe were hung in a past life, or were stabbed in the throat, or something happened around that area, and then when they recall the past life, a lot of times the phobia goes away.
For people who are now, I feel the viewers turning right now. They maybe start out as skeptics, but now they're interested. I can feel it. So take me through the process of the actual regression. Okay. Hypnosis, how long does it take?
Exactly. It depends how long it takes. It could be an hour, it could be more. But yeah, we do use hypnosis, and so what hypnosis is all it is focused concentration. There's nothing scary, you'll never get stuck there. It's just kind of like when you're watching a movie and you lose sense of what's going around you and you don't hear the phone ringing. That's hypnosis.
And then from there, how does the process work?
Well, we induce hypnosis and relaxation with people, and we can guide them first to their childhood, and people can usually remember a childhood memory. And then we can go to in utero, when they were in their mother's wombs, and people can remember
People remember that?
Yeah, and they can verify it with their mother later. And,
wow.
And then we go to past lives, and when people are in that relaxed state, it's easy for the mind to open up, and about 3/4 of people usually do it on their first try.
Of all the regressions that you've supervised, you've been a part of, give me a story that even blew your mind.
Well, there's one I wasn't a part of, but we tell about it in this book, because this book is a collection of people's regressions, and it was about a woman she has a horse in the present life, and she's always had a difficult relationship with the horse. She went back to a past life, and the horse was indirectly responsible for her husband's death. And so it turns out she had blamed the horse throughout all of these years, and they kept reincarnating together to learn this lesson of forgiveness. And I love the story because I love animals. I love to know that our pets reincarnate and they come back to us.
So even pets reincarnate?
Oh yeah, that's what we find.
Well, that would explain all the Jaws movies, I guess, right? Just coming up, just
won't
go away.
Right?
Go away, shark. It's so fascinating. Let's change gears just a little bit, because you do something else that I think is really interesting as well. Tell me about playing the harp and what you do with that.
Okay, well, I learned to play the harp a few years ago, and my intention was to play for hospital and hospice patients. So what I do, it's a little different from performance, because I'll play live, relaxing music at their bedside in order to facilitate healing.
And you were telling me a story that you worked with someone who had Alzheimer's. Tell me that story, yeah.
Okay, I was actually in an assisted living facility here in Broward, and there was a woman with advanced Alzheimer's disease, and she couldn't speak at this point, no memories, and had difficulty moving. She was in a wheelchair. So I started playing the Tennessee Waltz for her, which was a song that was popular when she was a young woman. And this woman who can't speak at all, no memories, started singing every word perfectly to the song. And you could see her in her wheelchair. She starts moving like this and dancing. And the staff was amazed because they knew she couldn't even talk, much less remember. But the music is so powerful that way.
Is music something also, as you go through previous lives, do you sort of take that with you and any of those sort of visceral feelings?
It could be. I didn't, because I have a hard time picking up music. But maybe with Mozart, prodigies, people like that, yeah, they probably were very accomplished in the past life.
The last thing I want to ask you is, well, a couple of things actually, but one would be advice for people who are thinking about, getting regressed or getting hypnotized, but maybe they're a little scared to uncover, because it's probably pretty daunting and painful too to hear some of this stuff. But what would you tell people?
Search for a good therapist if you're feeling a little scared and you think you might uncover something difficult to handle, because they'll help you integrate it. So you could just go on Google and look for a social worker or a psychologist or a therapist in the area who has some training with past life regressions.
And then the last thing is, if people want to get a hold of you or find out more about you, how do they do it?
They can go to my website, which is amy-weiss.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter.
Okay.
Any of those places.
Thank you so much for coming. It's such an interesting topic. I would imagine you're always the hit of the party wherever you go. People want to talk to you.
I don't know about that, but maybe someday.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
All right. Pretty fascinating. When we come back, the hip, hot, and happening hairstyles for 2013 and how you can be the most stylish person in the room at your New Year's party.